up here, and it's also on the Slack. So please do that. Announcements. We have a YouTube channel finally. So that's really exciting. Now, if you want to look back at previous meetings, we've got that going. Victor put out something in the Slack. It's all his doing. Thank you for doing that, Victor. Really appreciate it.
A couple of gaming videos.
We want to have a group gaming night. I'd be down with that. That'd be really easy.
Smash Ultimate, it'll be fun.
So some other announcements. We've got a couple things to think about as we head into the winter break. You're gonna have a lot of time to do nothing, or you can take that time and work on computer science stuff. You know, that'd be pretty fun. It'd also be really good for a good time to expand your resume and portfolio for job applications. This first one is an opportunity to work with me on the rocketry team to develop a physics simulator landing engine. You see, we got a rocket here, right? And if you think about the SpaceX rockets, they send up satellites in space. Our rocket goes up to 30,000 feet, much shorter than space, but we still send something up. So when a rocket goes up, it breaks apart and a little box comes out. And this box can do whatever we want. And this year we decided to have this box be able to guide itself down to the ground and land straight up. Now, our task is to make sure that it does that successfully. So this is going to be a lot of computer science and programming to get this done. I've already got the bare bones of this started, but if I had a partner, that would make things a lot easier. But you know, it'd also be a really good opportunity to get your hands dirty with physics simulation. Pretty interesting opportunity. And then we'll be trying to get that done before the end of winter break. And we're starting it now. Other winter break projects, these are things that the club could use. ACM website, we don't have one. I'd really like to have one. You don't need one, but it'd be cool. The Twin Cities, their club has a website. It's kind of pretty. Oh, what their website looks like. It's really simple. We wouldn't need to make all that many updates to it. So once it works, it works. We wouldn't be copying their idea. It's just, yeah, it'd be nice to have a website for the club. Okay. And if you're interested in that, feel free to reach out to me and we can work on that together over winter break as well. And lastly, club meeting planner. I had this idea where, you know, it's hard to find times where everybody will meet. So we make a little interface where you say, okay, I want to find a time that works for all computer science majors. And then it just loops through all the classes next semester that a computer science student will take, and then it highlights the least dense spots. So it'd be like when to meet, but more automated. It'd be pretty simple, but it'd be pretty handy too. A couple projects to consider. If you're interested in any of those, DM me on Slack or ask me after tonight's meeting. Or any questions now? Card?
Does the university have any sort of like outward facing API we can use to figure out like when classes are okay? So
Well, okay. They don't have an API, but they have a website where you can download all the classes in a semester in CSV format.
Oh, okay, that's nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like, can you like search for like things like, will it have the CS tag in it?
I can show you the website actually. Called class info. Way handier than many other sites, and they never show you this.
I just had my counselor show me this.
Oh, really?
Figure out my schedule for next year. Yeah, because everything else is not updated
Mhm.
because they're transitioning to systems in the next few years, so they haven't bothered to update anything.
Oh, okay. That's their excuse.
Yeah, I said that it sucked before. You know, it's from 95.
And then we can scroll down to the bottom here. Where did I get rid of that one? Oh, slow. This is every class at UMD next semester.
Can you filter like CS classes? Like,
Yep.
Okay.
And now at the bottom here, we can export it in a bunch of different formats. And they give you everything. So they give you instructor, class component. There's a lot of things you can do with this. This is like the simplest thing you can do. But if we want to go crazy, we could make our own API. I think that'd be interesting. But like I say, this is the first thing at very minimum. It'd be really helpful for our club and a bunch of other clubs on campus to be able to get our club's name out there to help out
So,
around the university.
sorry, stupid question. What's API?
It's just a server that you can contact to get data from.
Okay.
Application programming interface. Any other questions?
Well, I have another learning opportunity if anybody wants. I've been hanging out over at MPAC with this guy, Handshake. He just kind of builds robots and stuff that, you know, if you want to learn like the basics of building robots. Like right now, he's working on this project for the theater department, make like this moving platform.
Hmm.
And so it's a lot of work with like robotics and different types of sensors and how to make robots drive straight because robots don't want to drive straight.
Hmm.
And so basically, if you want, like, just last week, we were working on like just like how to communicate with different Arduinos and different Raspberry Pis and stuff like that. So if you want a chance to work with robots and stuff, we're in MPAC from 1 to 5 on Fridays and Saturdays.
Impact?
Yep.
1 to 5. What's the contact info for that?
If you want to contact the guy about it, I can pull out his email. Basically, it's like he talks to everyone in CS1 about it, but he just likes messing with robots. And if you want to learn the basics of that,
For sure.
his email is trying to find it.
You put it in the Slack?
Yeah, I could just post it in Slack.
That's great.
Perfect. Good suggestion. All right. Victor, you can take it away.
Oh, sure. Resumes, but wasn't really gonna go over
That's
resumes.
fine.
Yeah, whatever. Okay. So the nice thing is that the University of Minnesota already has kind of a system with Handshake. So you pretty much already signed up. So basically, just go and Google this, right? Then you're gonna go to student login, obviously. And let me know when you're done with that. Is everybody close? No? All right, how about now?
You want us to skip past all these, like, questions it's asking us, or go through them?
No, you can go through 'em. Just,
Yeah, there's a ton that is, like,
oh,
all the intro stuff, like, where you come. Bunch of stuff.
questions are there?
Dude, there's a dozen of them at least.
Great.
That's the thing.
Okay.
It just gives you top option just to click through.
Yeah.
And
All right, cool. Just give it another minute or two. Almost all day. Okay, is anybody not done? All right. All right, cool. Okay, so with Handshake, this is useful for two things: looking for jobs, and also, this is a little slow, and also events, which we'll go over in a second. So you can see there's a lot of jobs here, over 20,000, and even you can, look for different things. You can go look for internships, and search for specific industries or specific companies from here. It's pretty easy to understand, or easy to work with. And then there's also events. There's events put on by the University of Minnesota, different businesses, and sometimes Handshake itself. So one you might be interested in is the STEM Fest, which is going to be happening spring. And you can, I'm not sure if this is one that you have to, you register for this, and you can register for specific meetings with different employers. Because it's virtual, they can't really, it's not something you can just, you have to register for stuff. And from there, sometimes you'll get messages from recruiters, or pretty much just recruiters. And something that you're going to have to set up eventually, we're not going to go over all of this now, is your profile. So you can fill in, for now, I think we should just do our education and some work or volunteer experience you've done. And for organizations, you can definitely include being part of ACM in there. And you can do skills, you can put in whatever courses you took, which is nice. And if you have a resume or cover letter or something, you can upload that, which I think we're going to go over at some other point. Whenever we do one of our career meetings. Yeah. Okay. All right. So that one was a bit easier, I think. Now we want to do LinkedIn, which is going to be something you're probably going to use a lot in your career for finding work. So you're going to want to click join now, and you can join with your Google account, or you can use your email and a new password or something. Okay, once you've done that, is it gonna, or let me know if there's like a bunch of questions in the same vein,
It's to sign any like security check and stuff. It's just running slow.
right? And there's also a dark mode, which is nice. Yeah. Okay, what does it look like right now for you? Okay, cool.
Mine's in the light.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I don't have a profile picture. I should. I have not worked on this as much as I should have
I
before
signed
doing
into
this.
Google, so I
Yeah.
just gave it my
Yeah,
Google.
same, mine also. See if we like it.
Okay, so once you do that, let's see, go into profile. Again, I have not worked on this as much as I probably should have before giving a presentation on LinkedIn, but yeah, so from here, say it's similar to Handshake, you can put in your experience and work, your education, your skills, and on LinkedIn, you can take skill quizzes as well, which I think you can only do twice. So you're gonna want to practice those beforehand. And you can do interests at the bottom. And similar to other social networks, you can have friends, but on here they're called connections. So I thought it would be a good idea to have us all put our LinkedIn's in the Slack. I'll make a thread, and then we can all just respond to that and then grow our networks right here. And add several, yeah.
Like year in LinkedIn. But I feel like you can just like add skills that you was not.
No, you can still add them, but you also have the option to certify your skills with the quiz.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some things that get categorized for some, but not all of them get categorized correctly. So,
Like what? Or like what?
well, because I have the Java programming language under tools and technologies, but for some reason C++ is under, it's like general skills for some reason.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know about that. Okay, so let me create a little thread here quick, in general.
Put in there. It imported all of my contacts from my
Really?
phone. Yeah.
That's nice.
I don't know a lot of these people because they're like class things.
Well, you don't have to know them. It's just, you know, it's your network.
Here's my girlfriend's
Yeah.
mom.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, what's this?
Oh.
Yeah, so you can just, I think there's like a share option on
Share profile and message.
yeah, I think so. Let's see.
Let's copy. Into the profile, share profile and message, and I can just get a copy of it.
Where was that share option?
More. In the left,
Left,
down.
more. Share profile and a message. I
Yeah,
think
and
I
then
think we
just-
can literally just copy this too.
Oh, I suppose.
So if I go on, click on Zach's here, I can just hit connect. That's a very nice profile picture there. Nah, we don't need to personalize that. Then hopefully he accepts, you know, but yeah, so if you want to grow your connections here, yep. Already got 7 replies.
Zach, you already added me. You're already added. Fine. What's your name? Chris.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Well, I made it this morning. Yeah, I made it before and didn't realize. I just made my profile this morning, and then you sent out the email about doing this, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Wait, so who's George? You're a Boy Scout?
Yeah.
Eagle?
Yeah, you go.
Oh, man,
nice.
Eagle Scout right here as well.
Oh, yeah. Put it as your topic too.
I probably could. That probably looks really good.
Yeah, that's
So maybe I might do that. I forget sometimes that that's even a credential that I have.
yeah, me too. Actually, I made that account like 2 years ago. And it's not enough.
So I'm also connect with your professor. They might not connect with you, but they're not gonna be affected if you try.
Or they might be. Okay. And let's see. You didn't? I'll figure it out.
Zach, you're Boy Scout too, right?
Yeah.
That's how you're telling. Oh, nice. That's dope.
Week 7. Or yeah.
You said you. Oh, me? No, I was just. I didn't like see it yet. But I saw it.
Right. So last thing with LinkedIn, you can also link to different websites like your GitHub or your Leak Code or your personal website. I definitely recommend at some point making a personal website if you're a computer science student. That's definitely helpful.
You work on the ACM website, your personal website, exact same thing. So. Winter break. Think about it.
I am thinking about it. I just don't like. I would, because it would be an HTML, right? Or
We're
would
expanding
be,
our horizons. We're moving really fast.
so it literally just like a free website builder thing. So it is HTML. Oh,
Well, we just haven't got it yet.
okay.
We can use it if we want to.
I mean, the accent could probably be easier to move faster. So. I mean, okay.
All right. So yeah, this is basically just to get everybody set up and get our connections going. So that's it for now. We're doing Python. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
We want to.
Just answer. This has already been answered to everything.
What?
You just answered. This has already been answered. Another thread to everything. Yeah.
Everybody catch that? Oh no, I appreciate it.
Have semicolons.
That's true. No more mistakes like that. That is true. It's so who here has no experience with Python? Okay. This will still be worthwhile then. We've listed out some of the advantages of Python, but there is a huge cost to working in Python. Does anybody know what that is? Victor.
Slow.
Yes, it's extremely slow. If you want to run a graphics program in Python, that's an interesting choice. It'll take forever, but like we've said, big advantage of Python is that it's really fast to write. And in software development environments and on your job, a lot of places are moving to Python because you can write more lines in a day. Or no matter what language you use, you're going to be writing the same amount of lines roughly every day. Everybody has their own number of lines, their own efficiency, but that'll grow a bit. But ultimately, it's down to the lines, not the content of those lines. So with Python, you have a lot more dense stuff going on. You don't need to write out data types. You don't need to write curly brackets, no semicolons to worry about, no pointers. There's a lot less chances for you to screw up. And like I said, it's a lot denser. So if you're working with the same amount of lines from C++ to Python, you're performing a lot more work in Python, even though it comes at the cost of being slow. And in most cases, the computers that run Python are really fast, so it doesn't matter. Anyways. So how are the installations going? Okay. So while we're waiting,
For me, Anaconda, installing it is way more complex than just, because I downloaded some other stuff with pip install, like some of the Jupyter stuff into my thing. I mean, I might try that.
did it work?
Yeah, like stuff's downloaded.
And did the Jupyters work?
I don't know how to like launch it. Is the thing. Like what command should I use?
We'll get there.
Okay.
Well, I guess it's Jupyter attached.
I think it's in there. It isn't just like a full line side.
I think that's hanging.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Yeah, it's working.
Okay.
Anaconda might be a little overkill, but whatever. Once you have the tools, you got them. And there are some things that if you don't download Anaconda, you're going to be missing out on some of the things I'll show. Well, I'll show you in the future probably. I guess let me and just walk you through some of the basic syntax. So, cool thing about Python is, like Carter said, it's interpreted. So you type in, once you have Python going, if you open up your terminal, you just type in Python or Python 3. There's two big versions of Python that are somewhat supported at the moment. There's Python 2.7 and Python, the most recent 3.9. Yeah, that's what I said. I'm not sure what the actual one is, but on my computer anyways, if I don't explicitly say Python 3, it'll default to Python 2.7, and I almost never want to do that. So just one thing to keep in mind, if your program's not working, it might be because you're running the wrong version of Python. So once you're in here, this is the Python shell. Don't know. That would help. I want that to go up, but maybe.
Control L maybe?
Wonderful, thank you. So from here, things kind of look like Python or JavaScript. Just do basic math.
You know, screen sharing.
Oh, thank you. How would we feel if we made a Discord just for Zoom alternative? Because I hate Zoom so much. Although, no, that would not work for our purposes. Never mind. How do I do this?
Go into the code and then.
Is there a better way to do this?
There you go.
All right. Next thing, you got exponents, so that's a double star. We've got logical operators. And also print text. Oops. And notice there's no semicolons at all. And if I try to do a semicolon, this is our first noticeable difference between this and, oh, never mind. We'll ignore that one.
I know when I do it in like a file, it doesn't like it.
No.
Like if you're in a file and you put semicolons, it's like, well,
Okay.
but interpreter maybe it's just like whatever.
Yeah, so we can print stuff. What else can we do from the shell? You can do lots of things from the shell. You could I really wish I knew that off the top of my head. You can do anything that you could do in a file in the shell. It'd just probably be less convenient, but it's a lot faster to get going. So, is Python download or Anaconda downloaded yet? Yes. Okay, we're gonna leave the shell. Actually, I want you to hop in the shell just for the sake of doing that. So if you go to your terminal and type Python 3 or Python, you'll know which one you get. You run just Python because it'll say the version number, the first line. It's working? Oof. Is everybody else able to get this to work? The new Anaconda people? Okay. Well, we'll leave the shell. Something else important about Python is that you can install a bunch of different packages, and it's just really easy to get code from other sources. So if you want to get a head start, If you have the Python 3 issue like I do, you'll need to do pip3. Pip is the package manager for Python. And
Does pip3 matter? Because I usually just do pip.
for me, it matters. It might not for you, but. This lets you install Flask. Flask is a framework for building websites. It's really bare bones, but pip3 install Flask. Generally speaking, it's this is always going to be how you download stuff like Python packages. This Anaconda is kind of an anomaly. Generally speaking, when you're downloading Python packages, you're going to use pip. But with that said, don't just assume the program name is what you should follow up pip install with. I always like to double check. It will say on whatever package you're using's website what to actually type in here. You know, just to be safe, you don't want to download any crap on your computer. All right. So at this point, we can hop into Jupyter Lab. So before we open up that, find a folder that you want to work in. And to get things scrolling, I'm just going to type Jupyter-Lab. Have people in here used Mathematica before? Anybody not?
It's been a while.
All right, few people. If you go into, I know Calc 2 and Calc 3, or Calc 3 and DiffyQ require you to use Mathematica in the course, but it's basically a calculator that you work in like a document. So you type in commands and then you can run them on the spot. You can kind of think about it as a shell environment meets a notes file document. So you can, I'll show you what I mean here. Give me a second.
I don't know if you still can, but
Okay. Jeez, this is not. Had a better. Wait. So for one of my midterms, my professor said, all of your handwriting is terrible, so you need to type your entire exam. And I hated that idea, so I said, I'm going to code my exam, and then I don't have to plug anything into a calculator. That was a foolish idea because this took over 24 hours to put together. But, you know, I learned something along the way, so that's what matters. So as you see here, I've got code, and this is actually executable. I've also got notes here that describe the problem that I used that it was solving for. And this, you can use Jupyter notebooks in other languages too, as long as they're interpreted. But generally speaking, use it with Python, and more research papers that have coding involved are moving to Jupyter notebooks to communicate their results. So cool thing you can do once you got Anaconda installed is you can, is there an example here? You use SymPy, which is a package. You should, okay, whatever. Point is, if you use SymPy, it's a giant symbolic math library, so you can actually do integrals and derivatives with Python in a Jupyter notebook, and just it can have it show your work for you on your homework assignments. So if you ever use the differential calculator or integral calculator online, it's very similar experience.
What is that called? Sim what?
SymPy, right here. Just for the heck of it, we'll make our own Jupyter file here. So if we hit Python, we can switch to Markdown. No, this is all its own. If you see, it's I do not remember what this file is actually. Oh yeah, it's IPython notebook.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why you're able to have Markdown combined with Python. You can also throw in pictures and a bunch of other things too. Header 1 plus. You can type your code and then you hit Shift Enter, and that's what runs it. You can go back up and add more stuff and rerun it. And you can use variables in here just like anything else in Python. The declaring variables, you just do def and then the variable name.
With the header thing, it said there was a syntax error.
Did you switch it to Markdown?
No,
All right.
that would be why.
Maybe there is. Never mind. You don't need def. Yeah, we can use this, and then we can print. We can import packages. So if we import matplotlib, we're going to recreate the density plot here. If you want to leave, you can. Very much time, but we will expand on this later. The big tools that you want to explore, well, you will probably want to explore NumPy, which gives you a bunch of non-symbolic math functions. SymPy, like I said earlier, SymPy can also be unit, or I think you can do units too. Pandas. This lets you examine your data. Just lets you read in data from multiple different sources and then do stuff with it. Matplotlib. This lets you display your data in a bunch of different ways. You could actually, on that plot I have up there, you could add sliders to it to modify the plot in real time using Matplotlib. I'm sure there's another one, but I can't remember it. These are the big four that I've used in projects. So these lines are how you import files, just like in C++, if you wanted to include statements. This is saying I want to import everything in NumPy or NumPy, and I want to name that object NP. If I didn't have as NP, it would just be when I want to use functions from NumPy, I would have to say NumPy dot, then that function name. But now I'm going to say NP dot, that function name. Then we'll copy this here. And what this is saying is, obviously these are pretty self-explanatory. This is giving a, laying out the okay. I was having this issue earlier where I couldn't find my package for Matplotlib. So this actually won't work probably on my computer, but it might work on yours if your packages are set up properly. I can copy this over to you. Yeah, this is just saying make a mapped grid of W. Jeez, I do not remember what that is. Sorry.
That work on other computers, or is it tied to like this package that's installed on your own machine?
It's definitely tied to the packages you have, but you can easily publish this online, and then they can go through your notebook and see the code live and interact with it. Let's see. Yeah, so this is just making a 100 by 100 grid essentially to run these calculations through each one. The square root function comes from NumPy. It's not gonna work, right? All right. Our stream plot is the actual type of. Oh, go figure. Later. Either way, I think there's one thing I wanted to show you about basics of Python. If you have n less than 0 here, instead of using curly brackets, you're just going to use colon and hit enter and tab. Then everything that would be inside curly brackets are instead placed on this tab, and then you close it by just getting off that tab. And it's the same thing for for loops and whiles, all through that structure.
One thing I like, well, and this is, I guess, more for like, if you're working with like strings. But the really nice thing I like about Python is like, if you have like a list of strings, like for this and this,
Oh yeah,
it'll just iterate through it. Like you don't need to say like for like range. You don't have to deal with like range. You can literally say like, if you have, let's say you have a list of like names or something, like, and it's called like names, like for name and names, and it'll just iterate through that. Super nice.
this is what he's talking about, and I agree. I love this.
Either that or
Oh,
quotes.
thank you. So, yeah, like Jonathan was saying, it's a lot kinder language to code in. You can do this with a bunch of things. The other data type to know about is dictionary. But we can, do you want to stay or do we want to talk about this later? Anybody else? It's totally fine if you want to leave. All right, let's call it here. And we'll talk about dictionaries quick next time. And yeah, maybe we'll have a presentation on Gatsby and React, so I can show you what I was talking about earlier.